Hello, and welcome to Biohacking with Brittany. I am so excited that you are tuning in this week for another episode. If you are new, I'm also happy that you're here. This is a place where I talk about wellness and biohacking and natural health and basically everything along those lines. I am a registered holistic nutritionist and I've kind of been in the biohacking space for 4 or 5 years now and been in the natural health world probably 12, 13 years. So it's been a long journey and I've been learning a lot. And today we are doing a personal episode. My podcast is kind of going through a bit of a rebrand and a shift right now. So I'm just experimenting with different formats and different things that I want to do as I bring on some new features and guests and things coming in the summer/spring/April. So until then, it's just testing out different formats and kind of going with the flow, which is what I love to do. So thank you for tuning in this week. A quick shout out to the sponsors of this week. Obviously, I am super excited to talk about Silver Biotics. This is the cream. I use their cream, I use their gel, and I use their toothpaste actually. So Silver Biotics specializes in products that have silver in them, and it basically kills off any bad bacteria, mold, bad microbes in general, while still leaving the healthy ones intact. So you can use this on your skin when you're dealing with things like an ear infection or a rash or some sort of irritation and you kind of want to get rid of it. You can use their gel on wounds, actually. So if you cut your skin or anything like that and you don't want it to get infected, it's really great for that, especially if you have like kids and they scrape their knees, that type of thing. And then I also use their toothpaste, which gets rid of cavity-causing microbes and just bad bacteria in general. So that's Silver Biotics is my favorite. I think I will always use silver infused products now that I've started. They will be linked in my show notes. They're also on my website. And a shout out to Bioptimizers. I see everybody is so interested in their magnesium, in their, Newtopia. They also have like nootropics as well. And also in their digestive enzymes. So these digestive enzymes, I actually recommend these to all of my clients when I was taking clients and all of my family and friends now. So if you're somebody who follows like a pretty clean diet, which I think most biohackers do, when we kind of go off of that diet and say we go out for food or we have alcohol or whatever it is, like gluten, dairy, lactose, grains, soy, sugar, etc., it's really nice to have something like Bioptimizers digestive enzymes because it helps break down the food. So it's basically reducing the burden of that, not as clean food on your digestive system by helping to break it down faster and easier for you. So I always have these on hand. I have a bottle in my car. I have multiple bottles at home because you never know when you're going to need it and you just want further digestive support. So it's always a good backup to have. And I'm going traveling soon and I will definitely be bringing these because when you travel, as much as you can try to be healthy, and obviously I do, there are times where I feel like I don't have a lot of options of what I want to eat. And so having these to support me in those moments is a really, really good fail safe. So that's Bioptimizers digestive enzymes. Like I said, they also have a bunch of other good products. Link to my show notes. Go check it out. And if you're interested in any other biohacking products or wellness products, you can go to my website, biohackingbrittany.com. I have a shop page there that I created that has all of these products for you and things that I personally use. So nothing goes on there that I don't use. I pretty much like weed out things that I think are effective versus not effective. And I have all of these products and use them and recommend them myself. So definitely check that out so you can get a discount on your favorite products. Okay, so today, let's dive right in. I am wanting to talk about affirmations, mental health, wellness, that type of thing. So we're gonna dive right into this. So if you are on TikTok, which I am, I think quite a lot of people are at this point, you might have seen this idea of lucky girl syndrome. Sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud, but lucky girl syndrome kind of going around. And actually, the hashtag lucky girl syndrome has over 130 million views on TikTok. So, what does this actually mean? Lucky Girl Syndrome focuses on daily positive affirmations and manifestation, and the users of the trend are claiming that they have been able to think their dreams into reality. So, there's so much to say about this. I think that we can take a step back before we even really get into Lucky Girl Syndrome and just talk about like manifestations and affirmations in general. So, for me personally, I love affirmations. I love manifestation. I am not somebody who is, an expert in this. And I know there's a ton of creators out there who are, but I am still somebody who follows and tries to follow these types of things. Like I read the books, I listen to the podcasts. I try to surround myself with positive thoughts and affirmations because I really do believe it actually makes a difference. And I really started getting into this last year, actually about this time last year in February, when I was traveling and I listened to a podcast with Bob Proctor. I think it was on the Model Health Show. I can link that episode into the show notes of this episode, actually. And Bob Proctor talks all about this. He talks about manifestation and affirmations and how to create your dream life and how to make the type of money that you want to make and all of this stuff. And I really, really started taking it seriously when I listened to that. And I actually have my note here. Oh, it's so funny looking at this. Oh, wow. Yeah. So he talks about how you can create these different thoughts and how your thoughts can become reality. So the idea is that, and this is not me making this up, there's like science behind this and also, which I'm going to get into, but there's also, tons of books on this. But the idea is that you change your thoughts, which then changes your words and what you say out loud, which then changes your actions and the decisions and the choices that you make, which then changes your reality. So that's kind of like the trickle down effect. And that's why people say your thoughts actually matter a lot. And to actually try to work on creating positive thoughts and positive intentions and viewing things through a positive light, because it can directly impact your life through changing what you talk about, what you say, which then changes your actions, which then changes your reality. And I didn't really understand this actually until I think I heard that episode and other work by Bob Proctor and other people who kind of went through that whole explanation. Because you always kind of hear that like positive thinking is important, but you don't really understand why. And then when you start to break it down and realize that, oh, this actually leads into how I converse with people and what I say on my podcast and what I'm typing in emails and how positive I come off. And then that impacts your actions and then that impacts your reality and it changes your life. So it's very powerful. Like thoughts are actually a lot more powerful than we think. So yeah, last year, I mean, I'm literally on my computer. I'm looking at this note that I wrote last year. And I wrote down, I don't know if I'm going to read these out loud, but we'll see. I wrote down 4 previous thoughts that I had. And I flipped them into positive thoughts and how I wanted to feel around them. So that's something else that Bob Proctor talks about as well, is like when you're creating these affirmations and these thoughts, and you're writing them down and maybe you write them on your phone or maybe you write them on a piece of paper and you tape the piece of paper up in your closet or in your room or whatever, you actually want to associate a feeling with them because then it feels more real to you and it actually makes more of a difference. So for example, like looking at these, one of them is like one of the new thoughts that I wrote last year was I'm extremely wealthy and make more money than I need every month. And so that is like the positive thought that I wrote. And while that is effective, when I updated these and I added feelings to them, you can switch that and say, like, I feel so proud of myself for being able to make more money than I need every month. I feel so proud and grateful that I can provide for my family and make more money than I need every month or whatever. So it's just kind of like updating the thoughts to be positive and then also associate feelings with them. So obviously these are from last year. I mean, they're different now. And it's actually kind of cool to see what I wrote last year because all of these have basically come true actually. Like just looking at my goals, which is awesome. But back to what I do want to talk about today is like the lucky girl syndrome. So like I said, this has over 130 million views on TikTok. And basically, creators on TikTok have been talking about considering yourself someone who is lucky and what that can do for you. So I actually really love this. I think it's important to acknowledge feeling like this. There are some people who kind of criticize the idea of feeling lucky and say, it's not luck, it's hard work. And I get that. Like, I do think there is dedication and grit and perseverance that needs to be behind something becoming successful. However, I do think that the mindset is also very, very valuable and actually is going to carry you through those difficult times. And especially when you're building a business, especially when you are going through something difficult, maybe it's like a breakup, a divorce, I don't know, maybe you're moving, maybe someone passed away. The positive mindset actually gets you through those times in conjunction with putting in the work physically, mentally, whatever that actually looks like. So, is there any science behind the lucky girl syndrome? That is the question. So, I dug up some science. I'm going to read it to you. The psychological notion of self-affirmation theory was proposed by Claude Steele in 1988 with a view that individuals are keen to maintain their integrity and sense of self. A person can tell themselves an outcome and believe in it, therefore believing they can control it. The theory has become incredibly popular, and psychologists have continued to broaden their research and understanding. Research involving MRI scans has shown that neural pathways that involve positive valuation become more active when a person considers their personal values with an affirmation. A 2015 study published in the book Social, Cognitive, and Affective Neuroscience looked at how self-affirmations activate parts of the brain that are associated with evaluation and reward. Testing 67 participants, of whom 33 used self-affirmations and 28 did not, each person filled out a questionnaire reporting 8 personal values to them and were given a monitor to track their exercise. After 1 week, they underwent an MRI scan and they were each given what was deemed potentially threatening messages encouraging physical activity to observe how their brain received them and whether doing the daily affirmations helped to discourage any concern. That's such a funny way that they're testing this. Anyway, participants were then monitored for the next 4 weeks to see how those threatening messages would impact their behavior and if doing the affirmations would have a positive effect. What they found was that those who did daily self-affirmations displayed more brain activity in the evaluation and self-processing networks, and they were also more likely to do more exercise to reduce the sedentary behavior. From their results, they were able to show that a person who does self-affirmations can show a more positive self-evaluation, and the individual can imagine positive outcomes happening to them rather than thinking the worst. So essentially, this is just affirming that when push comes to shove, if you have these positive self-affirmations, they actually do play a role and they can get you through difficult times. So I think it's really cool to see like science emerging like this, different studies. I mean, there's way more, studies and information out there about this, but this is just one snippet. And I think that this theory is growing in popularity a lot. Sleep is one of the most powerful factors to upgrading your health. Great sleep upgrades you on virtually every level: body fat, muscle mass, mood, brain function, and countless other ways. However, taking melatonin can be problematic. The body adapts and you need to take more and more, and it becomes less and less effective. There's a much better approach. Feed your body the natural melatonin building blocks and the transformers known as cofactors so that your body naturally produces melatonin. Thanks to a brand new sleep formula developed by my friends at Bioptimizers, you can experience the best sleep ever. After years of trial and error and sleep tracking, they have finally launched a new groundbreaking sleep formula called Sleep Breakthrough. Sleep Breakthrough is a delicious sleep drink that supports your natural melatonin production and relaxation without creating a dependency, so you can have your best night's sleep on demand. It targets 5 different sleep pathways to give you the best sleep ever. You'll fall asleep in minutes, you'll stay asleep throughout the night, it helps you get the right amounts of REM sleep and deep sleep, and best of all, you'll wake up feeling rested and rejuvenated so that you can have the best day possible. For an exclusive offer to my listeners, go to sleepbreakthrough.com/biohackingbrittany. In addition to the discount you get by using my promo code biohackingbrittany, you can unlock special gifts with your purchase with retail values of at least $20. This is a limited time offer, so go for it right now. I use this every single night. It's in a powder form. You put it in a glass of water. You drink it about an hour before you go to bed, and I sleep so much better when I have this. I love all of BioOptimizer's products, including their digestive enzymes, but this new sleep formula really, really has me happy and sleeping well. So that is sleepbreakthrough.com/biohackingbrittany and use my discount code biohackingbrittany at checkout. So I also think the Lucky Girl Syndrome is basically The Secret kind of rebranded. So The Secret is a book. It's also a movie now. I think there's multiple movies actually about it. But essentially, the secret is that you can control your life and you can control your reality through thinking positively, through controlling your thoughts. So I'm here for this. I think it's important. I think that this is a biohack in itself because negativity and kind of dwelling in tough things can really, really be negative and tough on your health, on your mental health and on your physical health. And I think that there's ways that we can bring in this type of lucky girl syndrome and positive self-affirmations to become healthier. And so I'll tell you what I'm doing. As much as I think it's great that people are creating content around this, I haven't created any content around this. I guess this podcast does count, but I might in the future. But for me, my biggest thing is that I need to see these things daily, like all of the time. I can't just like watch a video and be done with it and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to start saying this affirmation. Like I'm ready to go. No, absolutely not. Like I'm such a visual person and I need to see it all of the time. Like it literally needs to be in my face. And the thing is though, is like, it's pretty powerful though, when it is in your face. And I've actually noticed this with other things that I've done. So, I mean, we're getting really specific here, but I even noticed with like the background on my computer or on my inboxes, like I have multiple emails and I customize the backgrounds. And I noticed like when my background is like a beach in Nicaragua or a beach in Costa Rica, or even it used to be a place up here in Vancouver that I wanted to go to. When I'm seeing that so frequently, it's like subliminal messaging, then I'm like, okay, I want to go to that place. I want to go there. And especially when you know the location of it. So I think it's important to set up reminders for yourself that work for you. So what I've done is I've updated my phone background and I made this template on Canva. I use Canva for so many things. So I created this template on Canva and honestly, it might be public. This image might be public. I don't know how that necessarily works with Canva, but if you want my phone background, message me on Instagram and I'll send you the image. So basically the image is a picture of a beach. I find the ocean very healing and beaches very healing in general. And so for me, when I see the ocean, it creates calmness in my brain, which I really resonate with. I know some people it's like clouds or the forest or things like that, but the ocean and the beach really does it for me. And then I took the Lucky Girl Syndrome affirmations that everyone's talking about and I wrote them on top of this image of the beach. So I'll read them out to you. So there's 3 main ones that they talk about, but the first one is things always work out for me. The second one is I am so grateful for how great today is. And the third one is I truly am the luckiest girl in the world. And so these, like, you can even just hearing those, like, you can feel how positive they come off, how affirming they come off, how self-confident they come off. And also just like kind of like how unbothered the energy is around that, right? Like, and I think that's kind of like the vibe that I want to have this year is like worry less, be less bothered by things in general, I think is a good idea. And so I really like these affirmations and I like seeing it on my phone. I also made the photo of the beach is like neutrals. So it's not bright. It's very like calming colors as well. I think there's a lot to be said about like color therapy and how that sets your mood. So if you want this, I can totally send it to you. The writing's in white as well. Again, like neutrals are just very calming for me. So I like seeing this. I like thinking this. And I'm going to continue to work on this because it is something that is important to me and does make a difference when I bring it in. The other thing that I'm doing as well, which has made a massive difference in my life already, I don't even want to say that, is I created a vision board or like a dream board. And I posted about this on Instagram a while ago, but for 2023, and it is done on paper. So I took a piece of paper, like regular size paper. I got a couple of magazines and I cut out all of the things that I loved in these magazines, like words, images, and I created kind of like a collage, which I think most of us have done maybe in high school or when we were younger. But I really wanted to create a vision board for this year. And I haven't created one, a physical one, in a very long time. So I wrote out essentially everything that I want to achieve. So I included a lot of images of beaches and like tropical places. And then I also included a lot of words that I really resonated with. So things like adventure and content and fitness and wellness and smile. And it's not in front of me right now, but I'm just thinking of what I can see on it, like happiness, just these words that I really wanted to focus on. And then I also printed out or cut out, I guess, the goals that I have like financially for myself for this year and what I want to do in my business. And also the amount of how big I want my audience to get. So I wrote them out and I stuck it onto the piece of paper. And this piece of paper, it's quite beautiful actually. I haven't posted the final product of it online anywhere, but it is in my bathroom. So, which sounds hilarious, but every single time I go to my bathroom and I sit on the toilet, this is like so TMI, but sit on the toilet, it's literally in front of my face. It's right there. So I am seeing this like how many times a day? I don't know, 10, 20 times a day. I'm staring at this piece of paper. I'm staring at my financial goal. I'm staring at my audience goal. I'm staring at the beaches, the words that I want to resonate with. And it's so in my face that it's inevitable that those goals are going to be hit because every time I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my goal. I'm like, okay, how am I going to get there? Right. Okay. What do I have to do this year in order to get to that goal? Whether that's traveling, whether that's growing my audience, bringing in new revenue streams, etc. Like, how am I going to do that? And again, I think when we're bringing in these affirmations and visualizations, I think it's super important to put it in front of your face, whatever that looks like for you, whether that's your phone background, whether that's writing it out, whatever it is. I kid you not when I say that I use the mineral silver every single day. I love to sauna, just like a typical biohacker, and I love to go to the steam room. And I am very concerned about the bacteria in some of these places. I have kind of been dealing with this rash on my legs that kind of comes and goes. I've, talked about this on my podcast before. And silver actually helps so much with this because it breaks down and kills any bad bacteria, viruses, microbes, anything on the surface. I use the cream and the gel from Silver Biotics to help my skin for this very reason. But it's not just for rashes. People use silver for ear infections, taking it as a supplement, using it as a mouthwash, using it for toe fungus, anything like that where there's like some bad microbes that need to basically be, died and killed off in order for the other ones, the good ones, to survive. So that's what silver does. I love taking it, and I honestly use it every single day. Silver Biotics also makes a fantastic supplement, liquid supplement, where you can take a teaspoon to a tablespoon a day, and it really boosts your immune system in this way. Make sure you check them out. They are linked on the shop page on my website at biohackingbritney.com, and use my discount code with them, biohackingbritney, to get a discount on all of their products, the cream, the gel. They also have a toothpaste, the supplement, all of it. That is linked on my website and in the show notes of this podcast. And my discount code is biohackingbritney. I remember I heard a story. I don't know where I heard this. Anyway, I heard a story from Shawn Mendes, and he was saying he is like super into affirmations, and he has a journal, and he was writing out, one of his affirmations was, I will sell out the Toronto Stadium. I forgot what it's called, but he's from Ontario in Canada, and he wrote this out, multiple, like, filled pages and pages of this line of like, in 2022, I think it was like, in 2022, I will sell out the Toronto Stadium. In 2022, I will sell out the Toronto Stadium, whatever it's called. And he wrote that out so many times. And then in this video I saw of him, he was going through his journal and he was flipping back through that. And he was like, I wrote this out and it became my reality. And so I think it can look different for different people. You can journal, you can write it out line and line again. I personally struggle with journaling. It's not my forte, but a lot of people love it. And a lot of people love affirmation journals because of this reason of it becoming true. So do what's best for you and go for it. I also just want to do a quick note. In my bathroom, this is becoming like a collage of a wall in general. So I have this vision board for 2023. And then I also have some sticky notes up there. So I have a sticky note of my 7 for 70 that I'm doing. So 7 healthy habits for 70 days. I have a sticky note on my morning routine of everything I have to hit every single morning. And it's really good because it actually keeps me very accountable and reminds me of everything that I need to get done every single day. And it's very effective because I'm like, oh yes, 1 to 7, I have to do all of these things. And the next one I'm going to write out is my 7 streams of income. So if you haven't heard this before, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And I think it's important to write that out. If that's a goal of yours, right? Write that out and say, okay, what do my 7 streams look like? And so for me, I have my next few streams that I'm going to be hitting this year, next year. So I think it's important to write that out and again, see it every day and be like, okay, like I have 4 out of the next 3 are big ones. How am I going to do that? How am I going to start working on a guide, a digital product, YouTube AdSense, whatever it is, because I think that's really important. So take this with a grain of salt. I think that affirmations are seriously, seriously underrated. And I would love to know what your affirmations are and manifestations. I'm super curious, like what have you seen in your life that has become true because of the work that you've put in to get there? For me, I think my earliest one was this is a while ago, last year, maybe even the year before, let's say like 2 years ago, I created, and I've talked about this before, I created a little sticky note. It's taped on my computer and it's got 3 goals on it. And the first goal is how much I want to weigh. And just to be honest, like my ideal weight and how I want to stay there. So it's just a number. That's it. There's no, I will weigh this by this date. There's no feelings, like nothing. It's just the number. The second one is my monthly revenue goal, how much I want to earn every single month. And my third one is a little picture I drew of me and my fiance, our future child, and our dog. And the future child's a boy because I think I am going to have a boy one day. And this has been taped on my computer for 1.5 years, 2 years. And I constantly look at it when I'm in Zoom calls or I'm interviewing somebody or I'm in a meeting, whatever it is. And I look at it, I just see it all the time. I see these goals of like health, financial, and family, right? And it keeps me very, very accountable. So I strongly, strongly suggest if you have goals and if whether they are for your health or your body or your family or financial or career, put it somewhere that you're going to see it and keep yourself accountable, right? And the thing is like, you don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to shout it to the world. You don't have to post about it on Instagram. You don't have to do anything, but it's for you. It's for you, right? And let it do the magic. So if you're going to do this, you have to leave it up for a year or longer, right? If you're going to put up sticky notes in your bathroom or on your computer or on your phone background, you need to leave it there so that you're constantly seeing it and you're constantly reminded. And then you get to a point where every time you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that's the goal. Okay, what am I doing right now to get me there? Right. Okay, so this is my goal for this year. Okay, so, oh yeah, I should go to the gym today, or I should take my supplements, or I should be getting 8 hours of sleep, or whatever it is. I think putting it in front of your face and constantly being reminded and keeping yourself accountable is a beautiful thing. And so I hope you enjoyed this episode. I just wanted to, chat about this. This is a bit of a shorter one, but like I said, I'm experimenting with different content and I love just like talking about where I'm at with different things that I'm doing and being honest and vulnerable. And as always, take everything with a grain of salt. And I love bringing on different guests and different people. And I always just want to bring on different perspectives. And it's okay if you don't align with every single podcast episode or every single guest. That's not the point of the podcast. The point of the podcast is to learn about biohacking and different ways of doing things. And you take what you want and you leave what you don't. And that's what I love about it. So stay tuned next week for another episode. And I hope you have a healthy week. And if you make any affirmations, vision boards, dream boards, whatever, tag me. I want to see them. And also, if you want my iPhone background or any phone background that I created with these affirmations on it and the beach, let me know and I'll just send you the image on Instagram. Okay, have a good one. Thanks for listening to another episode of Biohacking with Brittany. If you're interested in finding the show notes or the sponsors for this episode, you can do so on my website, which is biohackingbrittany.com. Remember to follow me on Instagram where I'm most active. My handle is @biohackingbrittany. And if you're interested in working together and you want to email me directly, you can do that. My email is info@biohackingbrittany.com. And I look forward to hearing from you and having you tune in next week.